In the fertile lands of Mbeya, Kanja worked tirelessly on his farm, but misfortune seems to shadow his every effort. His fields were barren. Even his family member mocked him for his failure, and the villagers pitied him. One evening, Kanja was exhausted and felt dejected. He wandered to the edge of the River Zima. He sat on the bank of the river and tears started streaming down his face as he begged God for relief. As it became dark, a chill swept over the river, and guess what? A figure emerged from the shadows, and Kanja saw an old woman with piercing eyes that seemed to glow in the moonlight. "Why are you crying, young man?" she asked. Her voice was both soothing and sounded scary. Kanja poured out his heart onto the old woman, sharing his pain and his desire to be successful. The old woman smiled knowingly. "I can give you what you desire," she said, "but it will cost you something precious." Out of desperation, Kanja eagerly asked the old woman, "What will it cost me?" he asked. She explained that there would be a covenant where he would receive power and prosperity in exchange for his unwavering allegiance to the river goddess. Although he was very wary of this covenant, Kanja readily agreed. That night, she led him to a secluded spot along the river bank where there was a thick air of unseen forces and spirits hovering around. The ritual began. Chanting words in an ancient language, the old woman traced symbols on the ground. Her voice was thick, her pitch was high. Kanja felt a strange warmth all over his body as the water started to glow. The woman said to him in a strange voice, "Now and forever, you are bound to the water goddess and the water spirit," she said with her eyes burning with light. "Return to this river every full moon to renew your allegiance, and all your heart desires will be yours." Kanja left the Zima River that night. He was feeling both happy and uneasy, not sure what he has gotten himself into. Within days of the ritual, Kanja's fortunes shifted dramatically. His crops, which was once lifeless, began to flourish beyond his own imagination and the imagination of the villagers. Traders arrived from the neighboring towns to buy his farm produce, and soon Kanja was the talk of the town, Beya. Subsequently, wealth began to flow. Others also started to respect him. They no more felt pity for him or scorned him. Instead, their respect for him grew. Yet, Kanja noticed strange changes within himself. His dreams became clearer and filled with voices that whispered secrets about people to him. At first, it seems like it was exhaustion or he was imagining things, but the whisper grew stronger day by day. Suddenly, Kanja realized he could predict outcomes with certain accuracy, from market trends to weather to people's future to insight about people's past and present. The voice of the old man echoed in his mind. "Use your gifts wisely. Use your gifts wisely," the old woman continually echoed to him. As days went by, Kanja began to feel restless. Despite his newfound success, He craved for more. He craved for something higher, a higher purpose. One fateful evening, the voices that speaks to him started to urge him to proclaim himself as a messenger of the divine. Kanja, the voice said, you are chosen to lead these people. Kanja could not believe his ears, and suddenly he started beginning to imagine himself as a prophet. Gradually, he began to give people prophecies about themselves, about their present, and about their future. The villagers were impressed by his wisdom and his blessings of prophecy. They flocked to him and they gathered around him as he spoke. He promised them prosperity and healing to those who followed his teaching. His charisma and newfound confidence drew people from far and wide. The river has blessed me, he proclaimed, and through me, you too shall prosper. As people began to follow him, Kanja decided to establish a church. He called the church the Tower of Light, a sanctuary for those seeking deliverance and divine interventions. Money started pouring in. He built a grand big hall, decorated it with beautiful ornaments, whole having symbols of spirits who granted him power. Nobody questioned him. All they were after was his promise of prosperity and healing. Kanja's sermons and preachings were mesmerizing. It was filled with promises of miracles. One Sunday, he called out one elderly woman who has been suffering from blindness. He laid his hands on her, and moments later, she declared she could see. The crowd erupted in praise, and Kanja's reputation as a miracle worker went wide and far. However, behind closed doors, Kanja knew the truth. He knew that these miracles were staged, carefully orchestrated by his loyal members. Late at night, Kanja would sit by the river, his eyes fixed on the glowing waters. The whispers of the river spirits grew louder. They had more demands, and their demands were specific. Your power must grow, they said. You must bring more into our fold. The spirits of the river demanded sacrifices, seeds of loyalty from his congregation. These whispers troubled Kanja, but he knew he cannot fail the spirit waters. He introduced the concept of sacrificial offering in his sermon. And in his words, he said, the Lord reward those who give freely. He preached, urging his followers to part with their money, with their livestock, and with most of what they had. The followers, they willingly obeyed, and they gave up their wealth, offerings, sacrifices. Kanja grew richer and richer by the day. But even as he grew richer, his soul was not at peace. One stormy night, as Kanja renewed his covenant at the river Zima, he encountered another figure, this time a woman dressed in flowing white robes with piercing green eyes. She introduced herself as Zanya, a servant of the Marine Queen, the ruler of the underwater kingdom. You are doing well, the goddess Zanya said. Her voice was smooth as silk. But your journey is far from over. The queen has great plans for you. Kanja stood there shocked and fearful. However, he listened as Zanya outlined a ritual that would help to enhance his power. But the ritual required a personal sacrifice. What must I give for this sacrifice? Kanya asked. This time his voice was trembling, and Zanya said, Give up your humanity. Kanja agreed to the ritual, driven by his hunger for power. He wanted more power. At midnight, Zaya led him into the river, where the water covered him. As he sank beneath the surface, his body began to change. His legs fused together, his skin shimmered with scales, and his eyes burned with an unnatural light. When he came out of the water, Kanya felt as if he was invincible. His connection to the river spirit was now stronger than ever, and his abilities, his powers, were now greater. He could now see into the lives of his followers. He knew their secrets. And with this transformation, he now realized that he is no more an ordinary human being. He is now both a spirit and a human being. In the village, a young woman named Nia. She has been observing Kanja rise with a critical eye. While the other villagers praised his miracles, she noticed inconsistencies in his miracles. She recognized some of the healed people as actors from the neighboring town. Her suspicion also grew stronger when she overheard two aides laughing about the staged miracle. Nia became determined to uncover the truth. Nia began attending the church of Kanja, carefully documenting her observation. She noticed his ability to know intimate details about his followers' life, and she knew it was too precise to be natural. There's more than meets the eye, says Nia. She said all this to herself while she secretly documented Prophet Kanja. To deepen his control over his congregation, Kanja introduced a new tool, the mirror of life. Each member received a small mirror, which he claimed was blessed by the divine God. He said to them, "Look into it every morning, and it will reveal the parts of your spirit that need healing." Meanwhile, unknown to the congregation and the members, these mirrors were enchanted objects connected to the marine kingdom. Through these mirrors, Kanja could look into the followers' lives, knowing their fears, their desires, their weakness. This mirror became a symbol of devotion. But for Nia, the young lady from the village, they were a chilling reminder that Kanja's influence was growing by the day among the villagers. As Kanja congregation grew, so did the whispers of doubt among a few people. Also, Naya wasn't the only one questioning his originality, though most of them kept their skepticism to themselves. Prophet Kanja began to notice the subtle shift in the crowd. Sometimes, even the members were hesitant before they gave their offerings and their donation. As all this was happening, the river spirit warned him that he might soon be exposed. And Kanja said to the congregation, "Do not doubt, do not fear. I am the prophet you need." These whispers commanded during one of the nights, commanded Kanja, Prophet Kanja, to the river Zima. And the revelation came unto Kanja. He tasked all his loyal members to ensure that they intimidate and threaten anybody who do not believe in Prophet Kanja's words. Now, Nia, who have noticed and observed that there was something unusual about Prophet Kanja, she was undeterred by even the threats from Prophet Kanja. And she now began to keep a detailed journal of everything she observed. Every staged miracle, every manipulated prophecy, and every inconsistency, she wrote it into her book. She also started recording stories from delusional members who have left the church in silence. One of these members who left was an elderly man named Juma. Juma, who revealed that Kanja had demanded his life savings as a sacrificial seed to heal his wife. He gave this seed to Prophet Kanja, but the healing never came, and Juma's wife passed away days later. Juma told Nia, "After that incident, I knew that the man of God, called Prophet Kanja, was fake." Juma was so angry because of he believed Prophet Kanja, gave up everything he had, and still his wife died. Taken by all the stories, especially the story of Juma, Nia promised herself that she would expose Prophet Kanja no matter the cost. On a fateful day, during a particular service at Prophet Kanja's church, Prophet Kanja singled out a young man named Kito, who had recently returned from studying abroad. "The Lord has shown me that your life is in danger," Kanja proclaimed. "Your life battery is running low, and if you do not act fast, you will not live until you're 30 years old." Kito's mother shouted and wailed, begging Prophet Kanja for a solution. Kanja suggested a huge sacrifice. He suggested for a cow and a huge amount of money. Even though Kito was very skeptical because he does not believe in such prophecies, he was pressured by his mother to obey and to comply. Kito handed over a big check of money as a fortune over to Prophet Kanja. Nia was in church and she watched in horror as Kanja accepted the offering with a smile. She knows very well that the money will go towards his lavish lifestyle rather than any spiritual exercise. One stormy night, Nia noticed that Kanja always goes to the river. She decided to follow Prophet Kanja. She hid among the bushes near his mansion. And at the middle of the night, she watched as he emerged in a white robe and walked towards River Zima. What unfolded before Nia's eyes left her with fear. Prophet Kanja stood at the river bank, chanting in an ancient language. His body began to shift. His legs fused into a serpent tail, and his eyes glowed in green. As he slid into the water, Prophet Zaya appeared beside him. Her voice carrying the still air. The Marine Queen has appeared. Nia recorded everything on her phone. Even though her hands were shaking, she was so much afraid. She could not believe what her eyes saw. Zaya, who has been Kanja lawyer's aide for years, revealed her true nature for him during one of the underwater meetings. Zaya was a spirit sent by the Marine Queen to ensure his loyalty. Her green eyes, which Kanja was found mesmerizing, now terrified him. Don't you dare fail," she warned him, her voice dripping with menace. The queen's patience is very small. Although Prophet Kanja tried to appear confident, he felt the weight of his choices pressing down on him. Suddenly, he was filled with regrets. He is now tied to the covenant. He cannot even set himself free anymore. One fateful morning, one of the congregation members named Ayo stared into her mirror of life, which was given to them by Prophet Kanja, and she saw something she could not explain. She saw a faint shadow image of Prophet Kanja himself in the mirror. She was so scared. She brought it up during the service and she said to the prophet, Prophet Kanja, I saw a reflection of you in my mirror. What does that mean? She asked. Prophet Kanja was shocked at the question, and with a nervous laugh, he said, well, that might just be something unusual or maybe just your mind. While all this was happening, Nia heard it all and she took note of it in her book. However, Nia, who has been monitoring Prophet Kanja, began to experience some strange dreams after her midnight discovery. In this vision, the Zima River appeared as a dark water, swallowing her and swallowing everything about her. Nia woke up afraid. She woke up scared. She went to the next village and spoke to an elder about everything she has been seeing. The elder gave her a charm that will protect her from any danger and said to her, you must be very careful, my daughter Nia. You are walking in a dangerous path. But Nia said, I know it is dangerous, but I must reveal the truth. The river spirits are aware that Nia has been recording and following Prophet Kanja. They warned him in one of their meetings and said, you must stop her. She has been monitoring you and she wants to expose you. However, when they tried to stop her using their magical powers, they realized that she also is protected. They realized that she has charm that is protecting her. So they could do nothing to her. The only option they had was to spread false rumors about Nia. Prophet Kanja came up with a plan and sent all over the villages. He sent his loyal members to spread false rumors about Nia. That Nia was a witch who was working against the prophet. The congregation believed Prophet Kanja and his aides, and they started hating Nia and they started isolating from her. Nia realized she did not have much time because she was now receiving threats and the rumors being spread about her. She started to share her findings with small groups of the congregation. She was showing them evidence that she has gathered through the months. She tried to open their eyes that Prophet Kanja was not a true man of God. Some of them were scared, some did not believe, and others were too afraid to speak. Gradually, the rumors began to spread. Kanja noticed that people reduced in coming to his church. He grew annoyed. He was giving more hot sermons on the altar. He was also laying curses on those spreading rumors about him. However, all this did not stop people from leaving the church.